What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here coming back at y'all with our mock draft 2.0. Ever since we've, did our first one, we've had big trades, we've had new rumors, we've had complete change of hearts by teams. So we figured we'd come at y'all with another mock draft, kind of updating as we get closer. We will do a 3.0 if there's any other big trades. I don't suspect there will be until draft night. And as always, guys, you can catch us streaming live on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope for the NFL draft. We'll be live that whole first round. Me and B-Dub will grind that out for y'all. So make sure to tune in for that. Remind y'all selves about that. But, man, let's go ahead and get this rolling now, because I feel like the first two picks we probably could have just skipped if we wanted to. But, we have to go through them just a little bit. But B-Dub, if you say any name other than the name that we're both thinking, we're going to have a problem. But who do the Jaguars get at number 1 in this updated mock draft?
I mean, you might as well go ahead and set it in stone, Zach. This one is a lock. I mean, like lock of the century, honestly. And that's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, if you pass up on Trevor Lawrence, go ahead and fire the whole staff. Go ahead and move the team to London, because this team, there's no hope for it. We're going to go ahead and relegate Jacksonville down to like arena football if they choose anybody besides Trevor Lawrence.
I agree, man. I mean, this is a once in a generational prospect. I mean, this is the most set in stone pick. I mean, we see it every year. Cam Newton, Andrew Luck. I mean, all the Joe Burrow last year at number 1. We knew that they were going to go first off the board. So, guys, as I'm sure y'all are starting to tune in here, Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jaguars. We're just going to leave that. And as we get to our second, set in stone pick, pretty much, I mean, every rumor in the world is saying this team sold on a prospect. The New York Jets, with the second pick in the draft, Brandon, I feel like we can all agree it's Zach Wilson from BYU.
It is. I mean, he's number 2 on my draft board. I'm not saying that he's like my number 2 prospect, but he's who the Jets are going to take. I mean, all rumors indicate it. I'm pretty sure the Jets are just pretty much openly saying, yes, we are taking Zach Wilson with the number 2 pick at this point.
Yeah, and I don't even think it took them saying yes. I think the trade of Sam Darnold pretty much said that we're taking Zach Wilson here. I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, he probably has the most explosive arm talent in the class, just in terms of just awkward throws, off-platform throws. But he's going to have to be ready to start day 1, man. And I just – outside of Trevor Lawrence, I'm not 100% confident that every single player in this draft is going to be ready to start day 1. But let's get to the real draft, man. This is where it's going to get crazy, and this is the San Francisco pick. They traded up into Miami's slot here. There's a lot of rumors about where this pick's going to go, but Brandon, just for you, where are the 49ers going to go here at pick 3?
I just cannot ignore all the rumors that I've been hearing buzzing around. And I think that for whatever reason, San Francisco must have caught wind of another team targeting who I guess Kyle Shanahan wants in his system. And that's Mac Jones. I honestly think that he will end up going number 3 in this draft. I mean, that's if you pay attention to NFL news whatsoever, and I really don't like that much, and I've still caught wind of this. Mac Jones, I think, I'm not saying it's set in stone, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to end up being the 3rd pick in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, let me say this. I'm with Brandon. I want to say Justin Fields. Everything in my heart, my quarterback rankings, my heart, if I was the Shanahans, I would be taking Justin Fields. But just for me, I have it on pretty good authority, Brandon. Like you said, Mac Jones is the pick. I don't know. The Shanahans think he's going to fit that system better. The Shanahans see just something in Mac Jones to go here. And listen, he did have one of the most efficient seasons of college football, probably history, but is he going to be the guy over Jimmy G, Brandon? And if they trade Jimmy G, can they maybe trade up to the 15 pick to get, one of their other needs, like a corner or something like that? That's where I'm interested in, is what they do with Jimmy G if they trade Mac Jones, but I mean, or what they do with Jimmy G if they draft Mac Jones. But for me, my pick would be Justin Fields, but the whole point of mock drafts is to get it right. Guys, I think you're going to hear Mac Jones' name said at the pick 3. And Brandon, I don't know about you. This is something I never thought we would say.
No, it's crazy to me, to trade all the way to 3. And I don't really know why, especially after you hear where I think my fourth pick is going to end up going. Man, I don't get it.
I agree. And so this fourth pick is an interesting one. We're not projecting trades, but for me, Brandon, this is the
Yeah.
pick that, I mean, the Broncos for me, the Patriots for me, Washington football team for me are three teams that I think could be eyeing this pick greatly because Atlanta seems like they're going to stick with Matt Ryan. But Brandon, I mean, we talked about the trade partners, but who do you have here at number 4?
I will say I do think they will trade this pick. I'm going to agree with you there. And that's just the rumors that are going around. But you're right. There are rumors also saying that they're going to stick with Matt Ryan for whatever reason. They aren't drafting for the future, at least not in the first round. And I think that Atlanta's going to end up going with Kyle Pitts here at number 4.
Oh, Kyle Pitts. That'd be an interesting pick. I mean, to have Ridley, Julio, Kyle Pitts. I mean, Matt Ryan. You
And
got to be an exciting guy.
well, yeah, and I mean, yeah, he's not supposed to be ranked above all these great receivers that are projected to go somewhere here in this first round. But Kyle Pitts is probably the best, pure ball catcher in this entire draft. And so, I mean, I think it gives Matt Ryan, I guess if Julio Jones wasn't a safety net enough, it gives him yet another safety net, a guy who's just going to catch passes every time he's targeted.
Agreed. And we had a comment, are you guys adding trades into here? We're not adding official trades. We're going to say this pick will potentially be traded. We both think the number 4 pick is going to be traded on draft night. We identified Broncos, Patriots, and Washington as those 3 teams you need to watch out for trading up. But, man, for me, if they stay here, Brandon, this is going to be a little bit controversial. I'm not going to lie. I actually think they take a quarterback if they stay. I think if they don't want a quarterback, they'll trade out. But if they can't trade out, I think they'll take Justin Fields here, Brandon. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but I think they're going to get a steal at number 4 for Fields. I mean, I have Fields as probably the 3rd best prospect in this class. Matt Ryan could be a mentor for a year. He's coming off a rib injury. And I don't think and the big need for me, Brandon, for the Falcons is defense. I think defense is a huge need for the Falcons. And you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see a defensive prospect worth a top 4 pick this year. I mean, Micah Parsons potentially, but with all the issues going on with him off the field, I don't know if you want to spend pick 4. And a lot of these edge rushers are falling down boards. So this is an offensive dominated draft early. And so I just think they take a quarterback. And, we had someone here say that the Falcons that might trade with the Bears. I do like the Bears pick. I'd be interested to see what they offered the Falcons there, but the Bears do need a quarterback as well. I mean, their all season has been terrible. Let me just say that. The Bears might have had one of the worst all seasons in recent history. So, yeah, I like that trade with the Bears. But, yeah, I just don't think there's a top 5 defensive guy, Brandon. But this is where it gets interesting. I think we're going to have the string of one position start flying off the board here. And let's get to the Cincinnati Bengals, Brandon, at number 5. I believe last draft class we both had Penei Sewell going here. Does Sewell still go to Cincinnati for you?
So I want to go ahead and preface this too. I think Atlanta is almost like a sure shot to be traded away at number 4. I think the Bengals have a decent shot to trade this pick away, actually, just because of how valuable it is. And like you said, wide receivers might end up coming off the board here. And I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to tell people, or they're trying to indicate that they are going to draft Jamar Chase. I'm going to stick with Penei Sewell here. I'm going to choose the safe route for the Bengals, and I'm just going to speak this one into existence. I think he's the best option for them. Yes, I understand that Jamar Chase is a great wide receiver. I'm an LSU fan, obviously. I would love for him to go here and reunite with Joe Burrow. But you have to protect him, man. I mean, he's coming off an ACL injury. Do the smart thing. I mean, I don't think it would be a bad idea either to go ahead and trade this pick for maybe a later first-round pick and maybe another an extra pick here. There's a lot. I mean, this draft class is full of a lot of offensive line talent, and obviously it's filled with superstar talent at the wide receiver level. So I think you can get a lot of value trading this pick away. But I'll go with Penei Sewell.
I like it. Listen, this is going to be a huge change. I've had Penei Sewell going here since our first mock draft. I mean, since we started talking about this draft, but I think Joe Burrow is the franchise in Cincinnati. I think they're going to listen to him. They see what's happening with Aaron Rodgers and him not being happy. They saw what happened with Tom Brady. I think they're going to credit Joe Burrow and they're going to take Jamar Chase here, Brandon. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I mean, you look at the wide receivers they have. I mean, T. Higgins had a great first year. Is Tyler Boyd wide receiver one, Brandon, for you? I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what you're looking for in a wide receiver. But when you look at Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, that's a whole different conversation. That's a solid young wide receiving, I guess, core for Joe Burrow. And the O-line class is deep. I mean, Brandon, they have pick, 33? How does Alex Leatherwood sound at 33? I think
promising.
That sounds pretty good. And I think me and you, we're releasing our draft corners this week. We've talked about so many late offensive linemen that honestly could be a problem, I guess, or not a problem, but like a success for a lot of teams. So I'm going with Jamar Chase here for the Bengals. Got a late tune in. What are the picks so far? Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. We both had Mac Jones at 3. Brandon went Kyle Pitts at 4. I went Justin Fields at 4. Brandon went Penei Sewell at 5. And I went Jamar Chase at 5 for the Bengals. But Brandon, this one's personal for me, so don't mess this up. We're going to have a problem if you ruin my favorite team. The Miami Dolphins here, they trade back out of 3, Brandon, back up to 6. Philly ends up trading back. Who do you have the Dolphins taking here at 6?
I don't think you'll be too mad at this one, Zach. They have to get Tua help. I think since I have Cincinnati taking Penei Sewell, I have Miami taking Jamar Chase at 6.
I don't mind that. I'll take Jamar Chase. I know me and you are going to go back and forth to the end of time between Javonte Smith and Jamar Chase, but I'm not going to, pout over this. But I'm not going to lie. I like my pick a little bit better, Brandon. You had this guy already going, but I have him falling to us. I have Kyle Pitts, Florida tight end here. All reports out of Miami are that Brian Flores and the staff are obsessed with Pitts. And that's the key word in a lot of these reports. They are obsessed with Pitts. He is the main reason they traded back up. And Brandon, I mean, I know there's a lot of good tight end duos out there, but how about Mike Gesicki and Kyle Pitts? I'll take that.
Solid.
And then they get Will Fuller on a 1-year contract out of wide receiver to go along with Devontae Parker. Pitts graded out, Brandon, at a 96 last season receiving grade. And, I mean, arguably might be one of the best tight ends we've ever seen in college football in just terms of pure talent. So if you can get him at 6, I mean, there's people saying he's the best prospect in this class, Brandon. Whether you agree with that or not, to get him at 6 is pretty outstanding. And I feel like at pick 7, this is where it starts to get interesting, though. We got the Detroit Lions, Brandon. This team has holes at corner. They got holes on defensive line. They got holes at quarterback, wide receiver. So where do you think the Lions go with their first pick?
So, obviously they had the blockbuster trade that made it into our last mock draft. They traded away Matt Stafford. They get Jared Goff and a couple other pieces. I think you have to give Jared Goff. I mean, if that's going to be your guy, if that's going to be the guy that you're going to lean on with this franchise, you're going to have to get him some help. I'm going to go ahead and take Devontae Smith to Detroit. I think you have to give Jared Goff all the help he can get.
I agree. I also have Devontae Smith going here. I mean, they lose Kenny Golladay, Brandon, but they did sign Tyrell Williams and Brashad Perryman. That's a lot of speed guys, though. I think Smith's going to be their route running guy, their kind of X receiver, the one that could be the number one target that Goff needs. They've lost so much. They've lost so many wide receivers over these past few years, and I think Smith offers that immediate upgrade. That I think Waddle would be an interesting one here, but I just think they can't have just 3 burners. They need that guy that kind of – it's like the in-between type guy, and I think that's what Devontae Smith offers here. But, I mean, at number 8, Brandon, this is an interesting one. The Panthers, since our last mock draft, I know we both had them going quarterback, they trade a lot for Sam Darnold. All signs point to Joe Brady thinking he can revitalize Sam Darnold, kind of like he, revitalized Joe Burrow at LSU. What is your take here on what the Panthers do with 8?
So this pick is very interesting. I mean, this is one of the picks that was affected the most by this trade, obviously. They found their guy in Sam Darnold. I don't think they go quarterback here. I think everyone in the world had them going quarterback before this trade. I'm going to give them a guy who's going to protect Darnold, and I think that with Penei Sewell already off my board, I think they're going to go with the second best tackle in the draft, and I'm going to go with Christian Darrisaw. I might be a little whatever. Rashawn Slater, boo, get out of here. Christian Darrisaw is a safe choice here for Carolina.
I like Darrisaw. I mean, man, they just don't really have a lot of other big, I guess, needs they can draft at 8. I don't think corner is a pressing need for them. And I don't think there's. I mean, Micah Parsons could possibly go here, I would say, but I don't know. We got called out here. Slater at 8, apparently, from Twitch. Slater over Christian Darrisaw, but I'm going Penei Sewell.
Wait, hold on. I got to say this. Slater's got short arms. He's a guard.
There are a lot of people who do think Slater projects to a guard, so that's interesting. But I feel like everyone knows Sewell's still on my board here. I'm going with Penei Sewell here, Brandon. If you're looking for an offensive tackle and you could get Penei Sewell at 8, I mean, this might be one of the most surefire prospects we've had. So I think Sewell at 8 is great. Sam Darnold needs to be surrounded with something he never had in New York, Brandon. That's an offensive line. They got Morton at the right tackle. I think Sewell can offer a long-term upgrade at left tackle. And McCaffrey and Darnold are going to be ecstatic with this draft pick at 8 for me, with Penei Sewell going to Carolina. But the Broncos, Brandon, this is one of the teams that we had possibly trading up to number 4. And so what do you think the Broncos do here at 9? Since we aren't projecting complete trades here, where do you have the Broncos going at 9?
Well, if I know John Elway, that think that I know John Elway, I think that he's going to see a quarterback and he's going to be all the way over his current guy. Justin Fields falls all the way to 9. I think you have to go with him if you're Denver.
Yeah, so I think we both went quarterback here, and it was whichever quarterback fell. I got the Broncos taking Trey Lance here, as he was the last, of the top 5 quarterbacks on my board here. Listen, I would say personally, just myself, I don't think the Drew Lock era should end just yet. I think he needs one more year. Everyone was banged up. Everyone was hurt. But they feel their needs at cornerback. I don't see them going cornerback here again. They did a really nice job in free agency. But Lance is going to be expected to take a competitive roster into playoff contention if this is the case. And if Lance doesn't fall, Brandon, I really think Micah Parsons fits exactly what the Broncos need on the defensive side of the ball. So look for Micah Parsons here. But for me, man, this Cowboys pick, this is also a concrete pick for, I think, both of us. But who do you got the Dallas Cowboys taking at 10?
I think it's been their guy since the beginning. I mean, I had him going to Dallas in my last mock draft. Patrick Surtain, I think it's pretty much set in stone for Dallas.
Yeah, the only logical choice here, guys, is Patrick Surtain. Now, I'd be interested to see J.C. Horn is flying up everyone's board, including mine. I love J.C. Horn, but just for me, I'd take the 3-year guy. Yeah, we had Surtain at 10. Man, so, yeah, we both had Surtain here. I mean, listen, him with Diggs, both on the outside as DB 1 and 2 for the Cowboys, are going to give them a really, really nice pair of lockdown guys. But Surtain was the leader. 3 years started in the SEC, was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. So I like him a lot better than, Farley. But a quick recap, guys. Me and Brandon can recap our picks since at the top 10. We're getting a lot of requests to do a recap. Both had Lawrence at 1. Both had Wilson at 2. We both reluctantly, we hate it, but everything we're reading saying Mac Jones to 3 to the 49ers. Brandon had Kyle Pitts to the Falcons. I had Justin Fields to the Falcons. Brandon had Penei Sewell to the Bengals at 5. I had Jamar Chase. Dolphins, I had Kyle Pitts. Brandon had Jamar Chase here. We both had Devontae Smith for the Lions. Penei Sewell for the Panthers for me. Brandon, for some reason, had Christian Darrisaw taken at 8 for the Panthers. Trey Lance and Justin Fields for us at 9. And then we both had Patrick Surtain at 10. So there's y'all's top 10 recap. We got our boy Jarkill on Facebook saying that secondary is going to be healthy this year. He'll be a great fit. I agree. We were one game from the playoffs this year, and now they're going to add arguably the best cornerback there. So that'll be great. We got a Waddle over Smith from A-Tank. Brandon agrees with you. I don't agree. I think that's a little disrespectful to your boy Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner. But Brandon, let's get outside the top 10. We stick out in that awful, awful NFC division. We go to the Giants here, who also have a pretty obvious need, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they have a couple needs, but more than anything, I think they need a linebacker. I'll go with Micah Parsons here. And I say that very reluctantly because apparently his off-field issues have been like everyone's been pointing these out and saying, oh, he's going to fall. And he's been falling a ton of mock drafts. But I mean, I think the talent's still there. And I think that's pretty much their blaring need right now. And so I'm going to go with Micah Parsons for the Giants.
Oh, I had them falling a little bit further. For me, I mean, I think this is Daniel Jones' make or break season. And O-line, especially that left side, is a major concern for the Giants right now. So I actually have Slater going here. Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, offensive tackle. He's sitting here as a blessing for the Giants. He's going to be an immediate upgrade over every offensive lineman they have. Plus, Brandon, I look in division. When I do this mock drafts, I'm like, okay, who do they have to play every year? Can you imagine having to block Montez Sweat and Chase Young with that offensive line they have now? Rashawn Slater is a dire need. Rashawn Slater will be able to slide right into – he can play guard and or tackle too. So I think Rashawn Slater here to the Giants is a big, big matchup. But let's get to the Eagles, man. They trade back. They traded from 6 to 12. They get this pick from the Dolphins, who got it from the 49ers. We're just playing telephone here with this pick. But the Eagles, they have a lot of needs. They're in the same horrible division with the Cowboys and Washington football team and them. So where do the Eagles go at 12?
I still have the Eagles going wide receiver here with this pick, and they're going to take the best wide receiver on the board, and that's Jalen Waddle. I mean, I think that's a pretty big need for the Eagles at this point. They don't have any targets, man. That's the thing, and they didn't do a whole lot in the offseason. So I think they have to go with wide receiver here.
I was real torn here, man. I really, really wanted to go DB here. I really wanted to go J.C. Horn because they really don't have that, like outside of Slay, they really don't have that other guy across from him. Like Maddox is good. Avonte Maddox is decent, but he graded out terribly last season. He didn't have a very good year. But, man, if you're going to ride with Jalen Hurts one more year, you have to at least give him one target. I mean, the wide receiving core was the storyline of the year for the Eagles. And nobody in this class, I think, can stretch to feel like Jalen Waddle, man. He is a monster who probably would have been a top 10 pick. He seems to be falling just due to, team needs, and maybe there's some concern about that injury because we haven't seen him play healthy. He was still banged up in the national championship. He can take the top off of any defense he goes against, man. He will be a true wide receiver one threat. And I'm sure Jalen Hurts would love to have his old boy Jalen Waddle back with them in Philly. So that's a big pick there. We both had Jalen Waddle going to Philly, but Brandon, this one I had to change a heart set. The Chargers, man. I've been projecting O-line all season, and I have officially changed my pick from that.
I have not changed my pick from that, Zach. I'm gonna go with Rashawn Slater. I think that they have to protect Herbert. I mean, he's very. If no one look, I keep saying if this is their guy, this is the Chargers guy, and I think that's been abundantly clear throughout the season. Protect him at all costs. Rashawn Slater, he falls all the way to 13 for me. That's beyond value.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's such a deep O-line class. They solved their main two needs in free agency. I mean, got some really nice offensive linemen in free agency. I'm going to go, Brandon, they play the Chiefs every year. They're playing Jerry Jeudy in that developing wide receiving core over there in Denver. I have J.C. Horn here, South Carolina defensive back. I know it's an unconventional pick. And I see J.C. Horn so they don't blow the leads that Herbert gives them. I like the thinking.
Fair.
I like the thinking there. So that is fair. I do have J.C. Horn here. I've mocked O-line so often, man. But the Chargers have to face the Chiefs and Mahomes, and Horn has been flying up the board. Guys, go check out the 2-minute drill where I talked about his pro day. I think this kid, in the end, I really like Surtain. 10 years down the line, J.C. Horn could have been the seal of the draft, in my opinion. I mean, this kid has it all. The way he played in the Auburn game was absolutely disgusting. He has single-handedly ruined Bo Nix for every Auburn fan. If we didn't hate Bo Nix by then, that South Carolina game did it for us. So I got the Chargers taking J.C. Horn. Brandon has them taking Rashawn Slater. But let's get to the Vikings, man. Here at 14, no man's land in this draft. So where did the Vikings go?
I think that, and this is crazy. I have so many alignment off the draft board, but the Vikings need an offensive lineman desperately. And a lot of teams do this season, which is crazy. I mean, thank God this is such a deep O-line class. I'm going to go with Elijah Vera Tucker. I think they can fill that guard position really well with him. He plays pretty long too, so he may even be able to stretch out to like a right tackle position. But he's pretty versatile, man. He's not going to be able to fill that left tackle spot, but I think that he's going to be pretty versatile for the Vikings.
I liked it. I definitely am going O-line here. This is their biggest need. Let's see. We got Washington football team going to trade up with Minnesota to take Mac from New England. We actually both have Mac Jones gone. There's after all the news going on, I think New England or the Washington football team is going to have to trade up to 4 or 5 maybe to get a quarterback. I don't think Mac's going to fall outside the top 10, especially if the 49ers have anything to say about it. So we'll see on that. But right now, also in O-line, Christian Darrisaw fell here for me. I think he's the best offensive lineman on the board left. They have multiple holes in their O-line. So how about a 6'5", 315 monster to fill the void for Minnesota? He posted a 96 Pro Football Focus grade this year against some stout ACC competition. Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins is going to be real excited about this pick. I got Christian Darrisaw here. We got to think. I hope so. Listen, if Mac Jones to San Francisco is a smokescreen, I hope me and Brandon both easily would take Justin Fields at that pick. But right now, I think with everything going on, you might just have to see what happens with that pick because they seem really high on Mac Jones. Yeah, that's how we feel. Justin Fields' ceiling is way too high to take Mac at 3. I agree there. But I got Christian Darrisaw here. You got Elijah Vera Tucker. Now we get to the pick. I know Tank. He's a Patriots fan. So if we don't get – and so is Jarkeel. So if we don't get this right, we're getting canceled, Brandon. We're going to lose 2 viewers from this. Where do the Patriots here at 15 go?
I probably should have done a little bit more research. I didn't know who was me watching. But I still have the Patriots going quarterback here. And in all honesty, I have no idea how the Patriots organization feels about the only quarterback worth drafting first round who's left on my board. But Trey Lance is still here. I think the Patriots have to pick him up. He might be more of an experimental guy. I think his talent, I think his ceiling is super high. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how New England feels about him. But yeah, I've got them taking Trey Lance right here.
Wow, Trey Lance. We had someone say Kellen Mond. I don't think Kellen Mond's going 15. I feel like there's going to be some Patriots fans upset about that one. I actually have them going defense here. And listen, I really feel like some New England fans might be upset with this. But if Micah Parsons is here at 15, which he is for me, I don't think Bill Belichick can pass him up. I think Parsons fits exactly what Bill Belichick wants in a linebacker. He's going to bring freakish athleticism to this Patriots defense. And they're loaded. They already loaded up in free agency with weapons for Cam. Why not give Cam 1 more year? And why not get this defender in Micah Parsons, who 10 years down the road might be a multi-time Pro Bowler, and that's what his potential is. So I got Micah Parsons here. Brandon, somehow, I didn't even know that. I've been here the whole time. I had no idea Trey Lance was still going to be here at 15. Now, he said, apparently, okay, I didn't even see this. MP Micah Parsons from Tank, he said, called it. know you too well, Zachary. Don't use my government name. I can't have my government name out there. But
Oh,
and then we
Zachary.
had yeah, that's tough. That's a real tough one. But man, we had a Patriots fans don't have feelings. They're just fine. From our Periscope stream, I agree. Patriot fans don't have feelings. They're robots. But man, let's get on to the Arizona Cardinals. They were active in free agency. They get J.J. Watt, man. Somehow that's an amazing pickup. Brandon, where did the Cardinals go here at 16?
Well, and I think that edge rusher was definitely their biggest need, but I mean, they obviously went ahead and filled that gap. So I think there's another pretty big need for this Cardinals team. They've already got their guys on offense, I believe. So I'm going to go in defense here. And it's a guy who's also somehow slipped all the way to 16 for me. I've got J.C. Horn going to the Cardinals.
Wow. I can't believe they had Horn going all the way. And for me, man, listen, I know this is going to sound kind of crazy. They got J.J. Watt, right, Brandon? They got, Chandler Jones on the edge. So that's their two edge guys. Do you see a true interior threat for them?
No.
I don't think so. So I'm going to go Christian Barmore out of Alabama, interior defensive lineman, a big nose boy. And he was unstoppable for Alabama late in the season, and he graded out over a 90 by Pro Football Focus. He brings versatility. Brandon, he can slide outside if you want to bring J.J. Watt inside for some reason. You want to bring Chandler Jones or drop him back out. I mean, I think Christian Barmore at 16 is actually kind of a steal, Brandon. I think in a normal class, this caliber of interior defensive lineman would absolutely be a problem for a lot of teams to pass up early in the rounds. But we got it. Oh, apparently Tank also called Barmore and he said same wavelength, man. Hey, I like it. I like how y'all are thinking with me on this one. But Brandon, we got the Raiders out there in Las Vegas. Listen, I don't know if there's another prospect out there who ran a 4.2, but if there is, he's probably going to be drafted regardless if he has an 8th round grade on him or not. So who do the Raiders get here at 17?
That's tough, Zach. So I've got another edge guy going here to the Raiders. I mean, I think that's their biggest need. And it's a guy who I might be taking like a little bit of a stretch on here, but I've heard rumors about Las Vegas really liking him. And he's been flying up a lot of draft boards, honestly. I've got Azeez Ojulari going here at 17.
Ooh, I like this. Azeez going to the Raiders. That is on one right there. Tank said JOK, Jeremiah Owusu from Notre Dame. I like that. I went offense. So apparently I'm not on the same wavelength with anybody on this one. I went offensive line. And I have Elijah Vera Tucker from USC, who already is off your board. But I think the Raiders, they lost so much along the offensive line this offseason. They're probably going to draft O-line in multiple rounds this year. And I think Vera Tucker is the best choice here for sure. A dominant right guard for USC. He followed it up with even a bigger, impressive season at left tackle. And versatility is so much more important, guys, for the Raiders. So I think Vera Tucker offers an immediate upgrade at offensive line. So I'll see with that. But, Brandon, you had a Vera Tucker going a lot higher than this.
Yeah, I did. I had a lot of offensive linemen going in this draft. That's like spoiler alert. I have Miami also taking no linemen, so I'm just like one offensive lineman behind you at all times.
That's fine. We're big fans of you, man. Nick, shout out to Nick for sure. But man, the Dolphins, they're back up. You didn't mess up my first pick, man. So don't mess up 18 for me either. I trust you with this. You're the GM. Who are you taking 18 for the Dolphins?
I think obviously the first need was wide receiver. They already filled that. I full-heartedly believe that if they do not trade away 6, and I don't think they will, they've already traded too much, they're going to take a wide receiver. 18, I think you have to go O-line. Like I said, I'm just one O-lineman behind you at all times. I'm going to go with Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State here at 18.
I hate it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I hate it. Yeah,
Okay,
it's so deep, and we already have so many picks. Listen, man, before we got pick 3 here, a lot of people were projecting an edge rusher, and my number one edge rusher in this class is Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia. Um, and, for me, I think the Dolphins lack that true pass rusher. I think Ojulari has the biggest upside out of any edge rusher this year. He has the quickest first step in this class. He's an absolute nightmare for most offensive tackles. Brandon, against Cincinnati, he had a 95 pass rush grade against Cincinnati. They'll give them their number one edge guy. They don't have a guy that they can rely on play in and play out to get after the quarterback. Azeez will bring that to this offense. I actually don't hate Jenkins. I mean, we do need an offensive tackle, especially after the kid for Georgia, I forget his name, offensive tackle, who ended up getting kicked out of the league for everything, apparently. So we lose him. But I got Azeez here. Brandon has Tevin Jenkins here. Apparently, you were on the same wavelength with Tank, man, with Jenkins. He also said Pay would be here. I like Pay. It's just, for me, Azeez has a much, much higher upside in terms of what he can be. So, Brandon, we've already recorded this episode, but our boy Couch Coach and us are going to have a draft corner talking all about this Washington football team pick. So it'll be out soon, but where do you have Couch Coach's football team going?
So I need Washington to be smart here. And I need them to draft this position. I don't care if other positions look appealing. Please, for the love of God, do not draft a quarterback when none are left. No first-round quarterback talent is left. I have them taking Zaven Collins here out of Tulsa at 19. I think that's an incredibly valuable pick. If he drops all the way to 19, he's still here, and Washington doesn't draft him, I'm not going to be surprised because it's Washington, but I think this is a smart choice.
Yeah, we got a comment on my last pick for Azeez. They said, I saw them dogs on Bo Nix. I saw everyone on Bo Nix all year, so don't feel special. Literally, I know church football teams who could have eaten at Bo Nix for lunch, so don't feel good about yourself there, Georgia fans. But, Brandon, we talked to Couch Coach, and this is the prospect that I really I like. We have, if Washington football team doesn't trade up, I have zero idea what they do from Tank. I do. After talking to Couch Coach, I feel really good about this pick. I have Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota, off the board here to Washington. They're rolling with Fitzmagic. They got Curtis Samuel to pair along with McLaurin. I like Samuel in the slot more, and if they can get Bateman for another outside threat who's a big body guy, wins one-on-ones, I think it's a perfect fit, and then we give them a three-headed wide receiving core that is almost unstoppable. And the defense is ready to compete now, Brandon, in Washington. So get Fitzmagic another big target. He has way more weapons this year than he did last year at the Dolphins. So I think Washington's loading up to compete for this NFC again, and I'd be really interested to see what happens if they go Bateman here. But this is the pick that I have no idea what's even going to go on with. That's the Chicago Bears. And it's only because, guys, let me just say, the only reason I don't know what they're going to do is because they're so unpredictable because their upper management is atrocious. Who knows? They could go Kellen Mond here. They could go Kyle Trask. They might take Bo Nix, and he's not even eligible. So, Brandon, where do the Bears go at number 20?
Apparently, they are just in love with Andy Dalton right now. So I don't know if they're going quarterback. That's so stupid, man. And you're right. I mean, this. I don't know. I have no idea. It's such a shame that a team like the Bears have such atrocious management. But I've got them doing the smart thing here. I think they need to go defensive back, and Trayvon Moehrig drops all the way here. You got to take him. You got to.
Ooh.
The Bears. Man, the Bears have so many holes.
My heart would break for Trayvon Moehrig if he has to go to play for the Bears. I don't want him in that horrible city. I want Trayvon Moehrig to be successful and to prosper. I don't want him to be stuck in Chicago with Andy Dalton leading the team. Give my boy a chance. But, Brett, I know. I feel like that's not a bad pick. Moehrig would be an immediate upgrade. Tank on the comment said that he has him taking Bateman. Well, not available in my draft. Brandon doesn't see a wide receiving need, but I see an offensive line need. I mean, there's not going to be a valuable QB prospect here. So let's say you do move on, next year, I would say, let's make sure we have an O-line here for our next quarterback. And so I think Tevin Jenkins, Oklahoma State offensive tackle, is the pick here. He's a force of nature. He's going to be an instant impact run blocker for Chicago. They need multiple pieces, but for me, offensive line here is the immediate upgrade for Chicago. Yeah, I agree. So A-Rob's gone after this year, and whoever they draft in the top 5 next year, QB-wise, needs someone other than Cohen and Mooney. I do agree with that. I just think, man, the O-line over Bateman. Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, I think the Bears are in this weird limbo position where, like, Brandon, they're always going to be a wild card team somehow, but that's it. That's like as far as you get. You're either like one game out of the playoffs or like you wild card and lose. That's like your only choices right now if you're the Bears.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
So let's get to the Colts, man. This is an interesting pick too. And, I believe Aziz going here last draft. He's off my board now. So Brandon, who do you have the Indianapolis Colts going with at 21?
I've got another edge guy here, Zach. I somehow, I don't know how I structured my draft, how all these guys keep following, but I've got Kwity Paye going number 21 to Indianapolis.
That's actually who I have too. This is the first time we've agreed in a while. I have Kwity Paye here, Michigan edge rusher. They signed 2 edge guys in free agency, Brandon, but I think both are unproven at this level. And getting to the quarterback is the name of the game in the NFL right now. He was one of the strongest pass rushers in college football last year. In these past 2 years, he's going to be an absolute force next to DeForest Buckner. And I think the value for Kwity Paye here at 21, Brandon, is just almost unremarkable that they get that type of talent at 21.
Yeah. No, I agree. 1,000,000%. Obviously.
So here at 20, yeah. So here at 22, man, we got the Titans. They can use a few things. I think I had them going to O-line last time. I don't have O-line here, but Brandon, where did you have the Titans going at 22?
So I don't know. The Titans are another one of those kind of like they're unpredictable at this pick just because it feels like, but at the same time, it's like little holes that I'm not quite sure when or who will fill them. I have them going DB with this pick. I think they might be a little thin there. I'm going with Greg Newsome with pick 22.
Oh, man, Greg Newsome. That's crazy. And we got Tank saying they should take Elijah Moore here. Brandon has some opinions on Elijah Moore as a first-round prospect. No. But I actually do have them taking wide receiver, Brandon. As shocking as that might sound, it's not Elijah Moore. I'm not that crazy. But, Brandon, I want your opinion on this pick. I have Terrence Marshall here.
Oh, wow.
From LSU.
I mean, that's a lot higher. That's the highest I've ever seen him in like any mock draft. This is wild.
And it's only because, if I'm looking at what wide receivers are left now, Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore, they're more slot guys. They're not that go get wide receiver 1 type guy. They're more like the speed underneath guys. With A.J. Brown being wide receiver number 1 and the loss of Corey Davis, I think Tennessee needs another wide receiver 1 who can be that go-to outside wide receiver. And for me, that's Marshall. He's the highest left one, in my opinion, here. Kadarius Toney is a slot underneath guy too, a speed burner. And so I think they need a true outside threat. Marshall, I think, brings similar upside than what Justin Jefferson came into the league with. He's picked around the same spot. He has that upside with him. And so, Brandon, as crazy as it sounds, even though I wouldn't draft him this high, I think the Titans' best choice right now is to get Marshall Jr.
Yeah, I mean, they would obviously benefit a whole lot from that pick. So I'm not mad at that at all.
But Brandon said he's going to be a Hall of Famer, put it in the books. Terrence Marshall. But, man, let's get to the Jets' second pick, Brandon. We both had them taking Zach Wilson with their first pick of this draft. So where do they go at 23, the pick they get in the Jamal Adams Seattle trade?
So I think that if you're the Jets, I mean, obviously you've got your guy in Zach Wilson at pick 2. Like we said, if nothing else is written in stone, those first 2 picks are. I think you need to go focus on the other side of the ball now. And it's a guy that I have slipping yet again. I have a lot of people slipping. I don't know what I did, like I said, but I've got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, somehow somehow still available at 23. I think the Jets need to address that linebacking need. They need to beef up the defense just a little bit. So I think this is a safe pick for them.
Yeah, I like that pick, especially with him still being on the board. Tank said Farley or Morig. Well, Morig's off of Brandon's board. As much as I'm a Morig
So
fan, go ahead.
What I will say about Farley, these injury concerns. I mean, he just had that back surgery a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, we're not even sure if he's going to be able to be good to go for this next season or a big portion of it anyway. And, I mean, I think a lot of teams are seeing him as injury prone. I think it's pretty – I don't know. Honestly, I think it's dangerous to take him as high as 23, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the upside's there. But, Brandon,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm one step behind you on these drafts. I have Greg Newsome here from Northwestern cornerback. I mean, he's soaring up the boards. The Jets got their offensive, guy. Their QB was Zach Wilson, and I expect new head coach Robert Saleh to get his CB1 now. Newsome exploded onto the scene with a pro day, and he's not really a surprise for me. I mean, his 2020 season, Brandon, he allowed 12 catches all year, and he only got targeted 34 times, so he was shutting down the best of the best in the Big Ten. I really, really liked him. So I got Newsome here for the Jets, and I like your pick too. I think Jeremiah Owusu was a great pick at 23. And Brandon, I feel like I'm one step behind you again. I'll just start it off. Jesus, you always taking my guys. For Pittsburgh, Brandon, I got Jeremiah Owusu here. And I know O-line and running back is a need. But Brandon, after the exodus of talent like Bud Dupree on the Steelers, they had to draft the number 1 defender left. I think he fits into many of the holes the Steelers may have. He can fit into linebacker next to Devin Bush. He can be that edge pass rusher. He can be that box safety guy that can drop back into coverage and stop the run. He has elite athleticism. And I think in a division where you have to go against some of the most freakish athletes in the league in terms of Nick Chubb, Lamar Jackson, and everyone you got to face, I think this is a great pick for the Steelers at 24.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Last mock draft, I believe I had the Steelers taking Najee Harris. This is the absolute highest, by the way, that I would like to see a running back go. You don't draft running backs high unless they're generational talents. Like, I was okay with Carolina taking Christian McCaffrey at 8, but with 24, I'm going to stick with running back. I'm going to go a little bit different direction here. I'm going to go with Travis Etienne to Pittsburgh. I think that he could be an immediate impact, not only because the talent's there, but since Big Ben is returning for this season, I think with Travis Etienne, he has this little safety net where he can dump off a pass. And Etienne, I mean, we know what he can do in an open field. And so if he has this little under route, man, he is going to be dangerous in the system with Big Ben this season.
Yes, I think with the diminishing arm strength of Big Ben, to have someone who can turn those little short passes into touchdowns and big gains is kind of priceless at this point for the Steelers. So I don't mind that pick. So I it's shocking. I had 2 running backs going first round last time. I have 1 going this time. So I feel like we both had Etienne going. Y'all will find out where he goes. Just calm down. It'll get there. But Brandon, we got another pick here for the Jaguars. This is from the LA Rams. Where did the Jaguars go after getting their guy Trevor Lawrence at number 1?
Please help Trevor Lawrence. They have 0 targets in Jacksonville. I'm going to go with a guy who, I mean, you touched on him earlier. You called him more of a slot guy. I think he plays taller than he is. I have Kadarius Toney going here at 25. He's 5? I believe he's 5'10", 5'11" is what he came in at his pro day. But he plays so much taller than that, man. He plays so much longer than that. And I think that he is going to be a serious problem in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence passing him ball. Dude, that duo right there, I mean, that's electric. And if Jacksonville does that, you're going to see an immediate impact to their offensive performance.
Let's see. Someone said I better not see Greg at 26. I'm assuming he means Gregory Rousseau. We'll see there, man. That's Icy. Shout out to Icy for supporting the stream. But man, let's see. Ooh, Tank did not like that. He said, "Ooh, I hate that." That's tough. Listen, he said
he
sorry,
wanted
Brandon.
Elijah Moore earlier.
That's true. He did want Elijah Moore earlier. Got to call him out on that. But I think I'll like my pick. Let me bring the piece back together. I have Trevon Moehrig here, TCU safety. They got their second CB and Shaq Griffin to pair with CJ Henderson they got last year. So, Brandon, why not get him a game changer at safety? Moehrig, for me, Brandon, this is going to sound crazy. Just let me talk my stuff right now. Let me be crazy. He might be the best defensive prospect in this class this year, Brandon, when it's all said and done. I think that's his potential. He was the Thorpe Award winner. He was the leader of a talented TCU defense, and he projects to be the most athletic safety in this class, Brandon. I think he might be the best safety in this class by a wide margin, and I really like Javon Holland too, but Trevon Moehrig is different, and I think I mean, you could talk to it, Brandon, too. I mean, I think he was arguably the best defensive player in this draft.
I mean, I had him going at 20. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Apparently Tank had him here too, going to Jacksonville. Man, that secondary with Shaq Griffin, CJ Henderson, and Moehrig would be disgusting for Urban Meyer down there. But this is the pick, man. 26 Cleveland Browns. This is the icy pick. He told me not to pick Gregory Rousseau here. So Brandon, do you have Rousseau here? And if not, who do you have? You have
Gregory Rousseau. I actually do. Hold on. I can't. I don't want to spoil anything, but Gregory Rousseau, 26 Cleveland. So yeah, I actually do. I don't know, man. I understand people are super high on Jalen Phillips. I'm on kind of the same plane as you are, Zach. I think that the only reason he's getting any shine is because Rousseau opted out, and so. I mean, we saw this isn't like the trash Jalen Phillips segment or whatever, but I mean, we saw kind of how he struggled at UCLA before he transferred. So I don't know, man. I think he's so inconsistent, but I think Gregory Rousseau is a safe pick here. Cleveland pretty much has it all offensively. They don't have. I mean, I think Gregory Rousseau and how in the world am I blanking on his name? Myles Garrett on this offensive line, man. Or defensive line, that's so dangerous, and that's going to compete for sure in this AFC North division.
I like it. I mean, I like Rousseau here. I think edge is a need, Brandon, but they did sign Tack McKinley and another name I'm blanking on. He was a lower ranked guy. They're getting some cheap they got some cheap options, but I don't think defensive line is a pressing need. I like linebacker here more so as a need than edge. So I have Xavier Collins, Tulsa linebacker, going here at 26 to the Cleveland Browns. I really like Collins as a dominant in the rough here, Brandon. I think he's going to make the Browns defense immediately one of the best young defenses in the league. He's elite in pass coverage. He offers that much-needed playmaking ability at the second level of the Browns defense. You put him with what they already have, Myles Garrett. You put him with Denzel Ward. You put him with all their free agent pickups. I mean, this Browns defense is going to be ready to compete. So I got Xavier Collins here for the Browns. Brandon has Gregory Rousseau here. We got shout out, as y'all know, we're part of the Worst Take Network. One of the heads here is a big Ravens fan. So he's telling us not to mess this pick up, guys. We might lose our network if we get this one wrong. So, and, we recorded an episode, where we talked Ravens draft strategy. So I based my pick off of that, Brandon. So I hope you did too. Who do you have the Ravens going with at 27?
Hey, McConnell, check this out. I've got Baltimore taking Terrace Marshall Jr. here at 27. He slipped down my draft board. He's a big physical guy. I think he's going to complement Hollywood Brown in this wide receiving core. I mean, he slips to this position. I think Baltimore has to help Lamar Jackson out. Hollywood Brown he's pretty much underperformed in my opinion. I think he's not like a true wide receiver one. Terrace Marshall could be that guy. I think they complement each other incredibly well. and they take a lot of the pressure off of the Ravens' run game. So yeah, Terrace Marshall, very quality pick here at 28 or 27.
We got an emphatic celebration from McConnell. Let's go. And then Tank said T. Marsh Jr. to the Ravens, big to me. Brandon redeemed himself. LOL. So Brandon, big fan of this pick here. I know two people who are going to love this pick here. Icy, if you're still on here, will love it. And I hope McConnell likes it. Brandon, I think pass rusher is a huge need after Yannick and Matthew Judon walked away in free agency. So let's give them one of the biggest upsides in the draft with Jaylene Phillips. Edge rusher. Personally, I would have Rousseau over him, but Brandon, I've been reading. I don't think a lot of people are very high on Rousseau anymore. He looked kind of stiff at his pro day. I think they're worried about the 1 year production. So I got Jaylene Phillips here. The pick does come with injury concerns, guys. But when Phillips is healthy, I think he may be one of the most physically gifted pass rushers in this class. So I have Jaylene Phillips here. Brandon has Terrace Marshall. I would have projected Marshall here, guys. So sorry, McConnell, but Terrace Marshall is already off my board, so we couldn't have went there. We got McConnell saying solid. I'd take him over Rousseau. And then Icy don't want Phillips in his division. He's going to hate this pick. I agree. Icy, being a Browns fan, might not love this one, but Brandon, this is your team. You've got to pick for my Dolphins. I'll get to pick for your Saints. So I'll go first. That way you can tell me if you're gonna, quit the podcast or not after this pick. The Saints lost Janoris Jenkins. They've released him, and I don't know if you've been following, Brandon. There are some red flags surrounding Lattimore off the field right now going on. And so I think the Saints need a DB, especially with the QBs that are lined up in this division. I have them taking a waiver on Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech cornerback, who arguably might be a top 10 talent. He falls to 28. I think the Saints, could see him as, okay, we got some injury concerns. We could plug him in. And, he was an absolute steal, a 91 coverage grade. And he may well be one of the most talented DBs, in a year or two. But we lost Brandon there for a second. But yeah, we got some profanity from Icy in the chat. Really, really not liking Jaylene Phillips to the Ravens. But we got B-Dub back, I believe. What's up, man? So Caleb Farley to your Saints, man. You hate it, love it, or you're done with the podcast. I put your camera said it's done with it. You're frozen, man. This is a tough look for you. You should have just said it. You should have just stuck with it. The camera is revolting against you, man. So we completely lost beat up here, guys. So right now it is just your boy, but let me know what y'all think of our pick so far, man. Who do y'all have the Saints taking? And, who your favorite team, who do you want to see them get in terms of this late round pick? I know we got some people in here whose teams just picked. Who would you take? And I guess in your spot. But, for me, man, the next draft pick, as we kind of move on here, as we wait for B-Dub to get back, we got the Packers, man. I'm interested to see what y'all think about this pick. I mean, I've seen a lot of mock drafts kind of project defensive line, which is kind of crazy, but I never thought I'd say this, but it'd be a real problem if they didn't take a wide receiver, I would imagine. But looks like we got B-Dub finally back. So, yes, you're back. So,
all right,
man, so
Zach,
I'm
love Caleb Farley to New Orleans. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my draft paper. I also have Caleb Farley going to New Orleans. Now that's more of maybe like I wish they would go Caleb Farley than I think they will take Caleb Farley. If anybody knows me and my past Saints draft picks, not positive. It's not ever a good thing, or not for the past couple of years. So while I do think that they might end up going with someone like Jaylene Phillips, if he's still left on the board, I would love for them to take a risk on Caleb Farley. If you'll remember back to the draft with Marshawn Lattimore, they did sort of the same thing. I mean, he was coming off of injury during that draft. They took a chance on him at 11. I mean, that's a guy who normally would have gone in top 5 in that draft. I mean, he was that talented. I think that Caleb Farley is a solid risk to take here, if you can even call it a risk at 28.
I don't think there's any risk at 28 to get a potential top 10 talent. But, man, the Packers here, I feel like we're going to have the same guy because we kind of think about their needs in the same way. So, Brandon, where do you have the Packers going at 29?
I don't. If we have the same guy, then I will be shocked because I just kind of threw something out here. I think, and honestly, I don't even know if Green Bay will do this because if you know anything about Green Bay's draft picks, they don't ever try to help Aaron Rodgers out with wide receivers. But I haven't taken the wide receiver here. Obviously, they've got their deep threat in Devontae Adams. I think they end up going with more of a slot guy, maybe a guy who's 5'7", something speedy guy. I'm going with Rondale Moore here at 29. I think that his ceiling is incredible. It's incredibly high. I think that this would be a good choice for them. I don't know that they will do this, but this is also kind of more of like a, I hope if you're a Packers fan, I think that you'd be happy with this pick is what I'm saying.
Man, you stole my thunder. I cannot believe you picked him here because I thought I had a unique pick here. Man, listen, I never thought I'd say this, Brandon, but I think the Jeopardy thing with Aaron Rodgers is going to force the Packers to finally help him. I think there's a real threat. He's just going to say, screw it. I'm going to be an inside reporter for McAfee. I'm going to host Jeopardy. That's how I'm going to do my career if y'all don't get me some help. Brandon, like you said, they got their big outside threats with Devontae Adams. I think Allen Lazard, when healthy, is an absolute stud at wide receiver too. And then you can add Rondale Moore in the slot, which is immediately going to be a candidate to lead the entire NFL in receptions from the slot, in my opinion. I mean, this kid's going to be open a lot just because of the matchups that he's going to get due to people having to focus on Devontae Adams. And you forget they still got to try to stop Aaron Jones at running back. So, yeah. I think the Packers here would be amazing to get Rondale Moore. And Brandon, this is the guy. So every year I feel like we all have a prospect that we're just like, man, I just don't see how this guy busts. That is Rondale Moore for me. I am like, this is my prospect this year that I will die on a hill. I will pull my sword and we can go to battle over Rondale Moore. And so I think the Packers will go there. So Brandon, let's get to the Bills. If you copy any of my last 3 picks, we're going to have to throw hands after this episode. But let's get to the Bills at 30, man. What did the Bills draft to get them back into AFC Championship contention?
Man, they're also pretty complete. I don't think they have a lot of holes. Now, one place I do think that they're a little bit thin on is D-line, and so I have them going Christian Barmore here. I know you had him like 15 picks ahead of this, but he apparently slipped way down my draft board. Man. Talk about incredible value at 30. Christian Barmore, man, he is the real deal, and he is going to make this Buffalo Bills defensive front nasty.
Absolutely, man. I also had defensive line. Luckily, we had different ones. As you said, I had Barmore going pretty far ahead before this, but I have Jason away from Penn State, edge guy. I mean, they need a go-to pass rusher, so why not draft the guy who ran a 4.3 and comes with a 6'5", 260 size, frame, strength, all that. I mean, Brandon, I think this kid has the talent to be secretly the best pass rusher on the Bills right now if he gets drafted. And you get Ed Oliver to go alongside him. He could be an instant contributor. I mean, I really think his biggest pro, Brandon, and this is when I look for prospects, I look for prospects that have something that coaches, no matter what team you go to, you can't teach a prospect. I think that his energy, his juice, his passion that he plays with is something you can't teach, and that's why he's going to be so successful at the next level. Tank said Najee should go here. Man, that's a big talk for a dude who says running back shouldn't go first round, but I won't call you completely out. With the run game, they'd be so good, but he fits in Buffalo. I agree. I like Najee at Buffalo. Man, that edge rusher position is so important, especially when you want to go up against the Chiefs. The Bucs laid the groundwork for how to beat the Chiefs. You have to get to Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I kind of went defensive line here. Yeah, I agree. Zach Moss, as much as he did great things at Utah last year, he is not it, and I'm not a huge Singletary fan either. But man, we got 2 picks left, Brandon. You want to talk about teams with no holes? Well, we got the Chiefs and the Bucks left. So let's get to the Chiefs here first, man. Where did the Chiefs go at 31 as we wrap up this first round?
I think the Chiefs do have a hole. I think they have a big hole at edge rusher. I'm going to go with Jalen Phillips here. I mean, he's still available on my draft board. So, man, I don't think you can go wrong here. I might have talked a little bit of crap about him just a second ago about his consistency, about whether or not, he had one good season, basically. So, I think at 31, and if you're the Chiefs, you're not taking a lot of a risk here. Choosing a guy like Jalen Phillips is a safe pick. This is probably the biggest need. They don't have a lot of them, but I think this is a pretty valuable pick here at 31.
I like D-line. I just feel like, listen, I know they kind of addressed it in free agency, that O-line issue, but I feel like there's still a guy or two they're missing on that front 5 to really protect Patrick Mahomes. You just paid this dude the biggest contract in NFL history. You better make sure you find a way to protect him. He already has the weapons. And I think this D-line class, there's some sneaky guys in the late second, late third that they can get. I have Dylan Roddens out of North Dakota State. I know that's a name not a lot of people have heard before, possibly. I think he's that borderline first, second round prospect. But, I mean, he allowed 0 sacks, Brandon, and 1 hit in his final 2 years. Didn't allow any quarterback hurries last year at North Dakota State. 6'5", 305. He's played guard. He's played tackle. And so he can slide into wherever the Chiefs need him. And some of the O-linemen the Chiefs have not showed a history of being completely healthy. So even if he doesn't, come in and start right away, just to have that needed depth and at NKC is enough for me here to take O-line. And so let's get to the last pick, man, as we wrap up this first round, man. Tampa Bay, and you want to talk about no holes. You literally, they could not draft a single player, and I'm picking them to win the Super Bowl this year right now. So where did the Bucks go at 32?
I mean, they re-signed everyone except for Antonio Brown. So no holes whatsoever. So what do you do with that? You have a 42-year-old quarterback at this point. Don't let Tom Brady get hurt, man. He will be the most hated franchise of all time if you let Tom Brady get hurt. I'm taking another offensive lineman. I know they took one last year in the first round, Tristan Wirfs. I'm going to go with Samuel Cosme here out of Texas. Go ahead and beef up this O-line even more. I make them even more of a threat than they already are. Man, it is so crazy that they re-signed everyone from a Super Bowl winning team.
Oh, Brandon, this pick, listen, you ever have a pick when you do a mock draft and you just get giddy inside? You're just like, man, If this happens, I'm going to throw up. This is disgusting, Brandon. And when I say the name, I promise you're going to get a little queasy inside being a Saints fan. How about Travis Etienne to the Buccaneers?
I don't want that. I don't want that happening at all.
What does Tom Brady want to have, Brandon? If Tom Brady could craft a perfect running back, I feel like Tom Brady would make Travis Etienne Jr. And this is a guy who, Brandon, he's a glorified wide receiver with how he catches the ball out of the backfield. He is a monster at pass catching. He's a monster at running the ball physical. He's able to take those swing passes, those screen passes, 70 yards to the house. Listen, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette did a great job. But Brandon, if you're a GM right now, and I said you could have Leonard Fournette right now, Ronald Jones, or you could have Travis Etienne, who are you taking personally?
Oh, Travis Etienne, no doubt.
Absolutely. Travis Etienne to Tampa Bay, Brandon, and I am sick with this pick. If I wasn't a Tom Brady fan, I would be disgusted with this pick. And, we have Tank saying Travis to Tampa Bay. It has to happen. I love it, man. I love the energy. But, man, I agree. I think it would be – Brandon, I mean, if they draft Travis Etienne realistically, I don't see how they won't be Super Bowl favorites. I mean, it would be the best running back Tom Brady's ever played with.
You're right.
It's James White if he actually was decent. That's a little disrespectful, but y'all get what I mean. But, guys, that is a wrap for our first round, man. This will be live. This is live technically on YouTube. It will stay on our YouTube channel, stay on our Twitch, stay on our Facebook channel, and our Periscope. So make sure to go back and check that out. If you're not on YouTube, man, make sure to go subscribe to our YouTube channel, man. We are almost at 80 subscribers. Once we get to 100, we're picking 5 random people, to give a free merch giveaway. More details will be released on that as we get closer. So shout out to y'all for supporting us. As y'all know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the 2-minute drill will be coming out on YouTube. And we got an announcement now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, up until the draft. We have the Bluebloods Draft Corner coming out where we have guests talk about every NFL team and their draft strategy. We break down some of the best prospects. We already got a bunch of episodes recorded. We're starting to release on Monday. So y'all can have 3 episodes a day to watch on some days. So shout out to y'all for that. We also are continuing our Big 12 in 30 days starting tomorrow. So make sure to check that out on all audio streaming platforms and our YouTube channel. So y'all have been amazing with this. Our YouTube channel has been growing just dramatically. So shout out to y'all. We got called out for the James White disrespect. He said Super Bowl hero. Kind of, yeah, I'll give you that to say the least. But guys, man, this is our mock draft 2.0. We appreciate you joining us. Make sure to do all the stuff I just mentioned. But for myself, for B-Dub, and the Blue Bloods guys, we are out.